It looks like MorroW and Sjow have both gotten back into the game. Just going to get confirmation that they are, in fact, ready. Sjow says he's ready. MorroW, we just need to wait for him. And there it is. We are going into Game 3, the last game of MorroW. Give a cheer for MorroW if you want him to make it 2-1 in the group.
And the other Swedish player, give a shout for Dignitas, Sjow.
Hey!
Sounds like there's more MorroW fans in the crowd than there are Sjow fans.
Either that or it's still 10 a.m. So it looks like we are just now loading our final game of Group C for the cast. And we do have, MorroW is not going to be happy about that. We have Sjow spawning as the red Terran in the north position. And just a few feet away at the left is MorroW as the blue Zerg. This is the worst situation to be in. As Zerg on this map, you want to expand more. You want to have more opportunities to control the map.
It's like, where can you take your third as a Zerg player? It's so difficult. As you were talking about before, compared to the Serve game where MorroW was in trouble with expanding, on this game, when you want a perfect location, you can just move around the map in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. But because of where the third base is located, you can only get the top left or the gold as a third base, and you can't really do that, so you're being forced to go down all the way to the right-hand side of the map, and especially if you don't have creep there, it's going to be so hard to defend against.
Yeah, it looks like MorroW now sending down to this bottom left expansion, wants to check to see if his opponent will be in the close air position. Zerg's like that quite a bit as the Mutalisk Harass is so super strong, but he is going to be very disappointed. This is always a little bit unnerving for Zerg, because once you see your opponent is not here, it is either the ideal cross-map positions or the worst possible right next door positions. And we do see that Sjow is getting this barracks at the front of his ramp with enough space to plant down 2 supply depots in case of some early rush.
Yeah, we're not going to see any early rush though from MorroW, as we do have the commentator hacks on, and we can see exactly what's going on. The 15 hatch is going to be put down, and I suspect the 14 pool will follow it. Probably the safest build on this map. It's quite a nice map to play on for every race, really. I don't think that any race is favorite on this map at all.
Yeah, all races are going to have quite a large degree of comfort, and I already like this Overlord placement by MorroW. Your Overlords are the tools that you should use to solve early game problems. Too often players just get the Overlord and just send it to a base. So they'll get their second Overlord and say, oh, there's a base, go over here. And of course, once they arrive, they get shot down by a Marine and nothing was too helpful. But of course, early bunker pressure, walling in the Zerg are huge threats, so MorroW trying to deny that with just that simple Overlord placement.
Yeah, and the drone is inside now. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to steal gas at all. That is a decision that a lot of players do make, and he is going to do it. And what he can, depending on how many Marines Sjow makes, is that he can just cancel and remake consistently and delay it for so long.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest pains in the butt, Mr. Apollo. Oh, there was a little blip of lag, and of course, because I am a gamer, anytime the server lags just for a millisecond, my heart leaps.
It's like Battle.net Stay Alive. Stay alive.
It's almost as intense as when my crush would make eye contact with me in 3rd grade. I get that same pang of fear. But fortunately, the servers have stabilized within, again, a millisecond. And now it looks like, wow, MorroW did let that extractor finish. That's quite a blunder. You want to cancel, rebuild as much as possible. Very fast factory coming out for Sjow. And it looks like there's, in fact, no add-ons being made anywhere. Very fast refinery. Is Sjow going for some sort of fast starport play? This is quite interesting.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what he does with this. He might be putting down a tech lab on the factory. The tech lab has gone down, so it might be going for like a very fast tank marine push. Could be interesting to see how it does that, but the Roach Warren has been put down for MorroW, which is going to help out a lot against this. Roaches are a lot better against Marines than Speedlings, and that's a good decision for him to make. At the same time, the starport has gone down, as you were saying.
Wow, this is actually a very funky opening from Sjow. He might be going for the Blue Flame Hellion drop, but this is going to be a very unusual formation to see at the start of a game. I mean, MorroW did end up seeing it from his opponent Servio in the first game, but very rarely do you ever see barracks with no add-on, factory with a tech lab add-on of all things. There's another Hellion popping out, and yep, there's the Blue Flame going down. Sjow is going to be doing a very aggressive early game play, but with the Roaches out, I don't know how effective it'll be.
Well, this is actually great initiative from Sjow, because he knows how MorroW plays. They're playing against each other all the time. Obviously, being from the same country, they have to fight to be who's #1 within the country. And he knows that MorroW likes to get these Roaches, as we saw against Servant. And the direct counter to this is obviously going for a Banshee, and that's what Sjow is going to do. It looks like he's got enough gas now, and the Banshee is in production, and that's going to be able to do a lot of damage, especially because there is no anti-air. There isn't even a third queen in production.
That's actually such a clever point you just made. Ordinarily, he wants to do some sort of Blue Flame Hellion drop, sees the roaches, knows it won't work, and just backs up straight to the Banshees. So smart, and MorroW getting a little over-eager with these roaches. Oh no, so many Marines here to greet him, and none of these Hellions are too close to dying. And it looks like there is doing some more roasting on those roachings. And meanwhile, back in the main, it looks like MorroW has not yet even begun to get a layer.
And that's not very good for MorroW. He's going to lose that one roach. He does decide to pull back before taking the second one out. And as you were saying, layer still not in production. Kind of a misread by me pre-game. I thought that maybe he would have skipped speed to go straight for layer, but he isn't going to get it. And it's going to be a lot of trouble when this Banshee hits the base. And it looks like Sjow is going to wait for a second one. He might not even try to harass with it. He might just go for an all-out blown attack with 4 Hellions, Marine, Marauder, and Banshees.
This is such an unusual play from Sjow. I mean, you never see this sort of thing from Terran, favoring so many Blue Flame Hellions, Banshees, and Marauders from one barracks. You always see 1-1-1 plays from Terrans, but never with this mixture of units. So MorroW might be in a situation where he's just a little bit surprised the way that we are. We do see that second extractor is down. No gas being mined from it yet. Oh no, 8 drones on production, and here comes the huge push from Sjow, and it looks like just a handful of roaches for MorroW. He might lose a very fast game.
Yeah, he's moving in now, and this is a great time and attack from Sjow. Knows exactly when the lair is in production, and now he's moving in with this Banshee, hitting the Queen. Got to be careful to micro these Hellions correctly, though. Needs to bring down this infantry squad and the second Banshee as well. Queen, oh my god, the Queen survives.
Looks like he managed to take out one Banshee, beginning to target fire the other, but it's an exact misclick by Sjow, and it looks like the second Banshee falls, but the real danger is the fact that MorroW's having to bring all his drones off, and even just one Blue Flame Hellion is going to do so much damage, but without any stim, he cannot pick the drones off fast enough, but they are at very low life, and here's some Zerglings popping out. Speed is done right now. Amazing defense by MorroW. The Queen has just a little bit of life, and it gets taken down, and the Zerglings are now out to clean this mess up, and MorroW looks like he has defended that push.
He defended it, but now he's going to go for a counterattack. He needs to get this tank back inside the base, lift up the supply depot. He has got the command center down, though, but losing 2 queens there is quite bad. But the key thing was that Sjow, I don't think microed, oh, that was very close, did not micro his units correctly.
Yeah,
I mean, he had the Banshee, was attacking the full health queen instead of the low one, so it got maximum damage on his Banshee, which would have stayed alive a lot longer. So kind of a mishap from Sjow, being forced into making a bunker because of that.
Now, one thing I'm curious about is in this APM tab, we see that Sjow is under 100 actions per minute. That is very low for players at these skill levels. I don't know if that is the nerves getting to him or whether he is, in fact, that pace of a player.
He's actually that slow. That's like one of his key, one of the things people note about him is that he's one of the slowest players.
Or as we like to say it in a positive tone, he's very exacting
accurate
with his clicking. Yes, he's very precise. He clicks deliberately. Whereas I click more like I'm tweaking on cocaine, which I think, again, it makes the APM number bigger, which makes me feel more esportsy. So either way, we do see Sjow retreating back with this Banshee, just doing a little bit of poking damage, but MorroW is in a little bit of an awkward spot, getting this fire. But look at that gas. He has 300 gas and 1,000 minerals. So he can do a little bit more expanding, but he won't really have as much freedom in the mid game as he would have liked in cross spots.
Yeah, and the problem with that is that because of the pressure Sjow put him under, he got his gas late. The timing with it is kind of bad.
Oops. Looks like, well, the good thing is that these are the results right now of the other thing. It looks like Nama won versus Bishu, Bishu won versus Sok, and Bishu is playing Runa as we speak, which is good because that means that my abilities to read are still effective, but either way, I've changed it back to the DND mode. Because in this game, we have the Banshee harass from Sjow doing a good amount of poking damage. Hasn't lost a single Banshee yet, just trying to pick off any outlying units.
Yeah, and this is the situation where MorroW's been forced into. Trying to get a third, he has to go all the way down south to get a third base up. And it's going to be so hard to defend for him. Though he's getting Mutalisk out now, but as I was saying before, the gas got delayed so much with that aggression from Sjow that he doesn't really have the necessary gas to pump out a ton of Mutalisk. He only has 4, whereas he would have liked to have 8 around by now.
Absolutely. There's more Banshees trying to advance forward. Might be able to pick off this Queen. Meantime, we do have the hatchery getting thrown down by MorroW, and the Mutalisks are out. Will he be able to pick off one Banshee? Yes, he does manage to get one Banshee off, but the Thor greets him with many missiles to the face, so he will be pulling back thusly. Third hatch going down from MorroW in the main. We do see the armor upgrade as well, and that tweaking Baneling nest does mean that the centrifugal hooks are getting researched.
Yeah, and
That's
I'm not sure. Well, the thing was that Sjow, I mean, MorroW isn't really doing. He doesn't really have an eye on exactly the composition of MorroW. He has no idea. I mean, of Sjow, what he doesn't have. He's looking at his base. He doesn't see what units he has, and going for central fusel hooks. I don't know if that's the best thing to go for. It's very. I don't know. It kind of seems like it's a bad idea to go for that.
Well, at the same time, MorroW's doing a very good job of spending that energy. Has extremely low energy on both of those queens, getting more roaches out. We even see the +1 attack upgrade for those Mutalisks, and at this point in time, those Blue Flame Hellions from Sjow going to be helping so much in the late stages of the game to hold these Xel'Naga watchtowers, and in particular to harass this bottom expo, because as we see, there's a big drone train making its way to the bottom, and those Hellions would love to intercept.
Oh, and they are actually going to do that. That's great timing. They are going to move in, but there are a couple of roaches to help defend against it, and the Mutalisks as well. But he goes straight for the drones. One goes down, doesn't manage to get a second, and it will be chased off. But the thing he does know is that there is a hatchery down there.
Yeah, so that's going to really help him. Oh, no, he actually... Oh, well, yeah, with the drone timing. Well, he hasn't seen it, but very few players just sort of send drones out into the middle of the map for no reason. So good point, Apollo. And then in the meantime, it looks like a lot of Banelings have been thrown down by MorroW. Without that +1 attack upgrade for melee, they're not going to do as much damage as they could, but still very effective to have Banelings against almost any composition.
Stim is almost finished now, and that's going to be vital. And that was the difference on the early push. He didn't have Stim. That's what all Terran players like to get, is Stim out to make the push harder. The Changeling did get taken down in the main base, and he sees exactly what's going on. But MorroW, I mean, Sjow, I keep thinking it's MorroW because he's playing Terran. I'm like, MorroW's doing this. I'm like, no, MorroW's Zerg now, Sean. I'm like, no, Sjow is moving down with a Marine drop and is going to try and do a lot of harassment. Are there any units here? There are 3 roaches and a queen to help defend against this, but there are no overlords inside to actually see this.
And this is such smart play by Sjow, being very patient, hugging the far left side, or excuse me, the far right side of the map, making absolutely sure that there is nothing that can possibly do any sort of spotting of it. Sjow is also moving to the right now, trying to pick off any sort of Zerglings. Oh, looks like he's doing a good job of that. And here comes the Stim down to the bottom of the base.
And he is going to be able to take this 4th base out. He's going to have to force a cancel from MorroW in this situation. And well, he should know. He should cancel it. Is he going to cancel? Yeah, he does cancel it just in time.
Looks like the Mutalisks are getting repelled, and a couple of roaches will be able to maybe do enough damage with these Mutalisks. Yeah, it will do just fine. And we do see that Joe's trying to pick off those Mutalisks and tries to block that Blue Flame Hellion, but it does get up. It looks like one drone will be taken down. Needs to be very careful that not too many shots get thrown down. And no, very nice defense there by MorroW, who is at almost 200 food, and his opponent is at 150.
Yeah, and Sjow is not even going to get a 3rd base. He hasn't opted to go for any 3rd base. He might be waiting. If we look at the production tab, he's just waiting for Infantry Weapons 1 to finish, and then it looks like he will be moving out. He's salvaging the bunkers, I suppose, any minute now, and will be trying to kill MorroW right now.
There's not that many Mutalisks out right now for MorroW. Does have that +1 upgrade, and just as you said, there's the +1 infantry weapon upgrade. Huge amount of roaches and banelings just rolling forward. Only Thors at the front line. Sjow tries to spread out, but doesn't click as well as he could have. Only a few Marines are left remaining, and these roaches are ripping through all of these Thors. There is only one Thor left. It gets taken down, but it does look like MorroW is going to be doing the retreat.
Yeah, he will retreat. He doesn't really need to go forward. He has the entire army of Sjow crushed. He's even got SCVs in there to help repair this Banshee. He's got a lot of Banelings about to pop out too. Mutalisks here, and this is just going to clean up Show's army. MorroW turning around, and he picks up just in time. Mutalisks are in chase though. They might be able to snipe them.
And it looks like 2-point defense drone still going to try to help and do a little bit of defense, but those Banelings are rolling right on up. MorroW having phenomenal Zerg play despite having the history as the Terran player. Banelings rolling up the ramp. Looks like they won't get up, but all the SCVs are down. The command center lifts, and it's almost close, and it falls! No expo remaining for Sjow. MorroW pulls back. He knows he is in the lead. He is going to make Sjow come to him.
Wow, this is really surprising. I thought Sjow would have gone into this game a lot stronger than this. He seemed to not be playing his full game against MorroW. I don't know what it is. Nerves is usually a factor, but I don't think that Sjow suffers from this. I don't know what was wrong, but unfortunately for him, it looks like he will be losing versus MorroW. He goes in for one last push, but I don't think anything's going to happen. There are just too many units here, and this is the final push.
Oh, the Zerglings wrapping around this top side, surrounding all of those Marauders. Banelings rolling in. The Medivacs have nothing left to heal. The Banelings are just rolling to the front, completely uncontested. A handful of SCVs remain, and there's the good game. MorroW 2-1 in his group.
2-1 in his group. That is really good. That's going to put him in top 2. Pretty sure he's going to qualify unless there's any three-way ties in the group.
Yeah. And I mean, that's going to be very hard for Sjow to be able to break out of that group now because of the fact that Servio came out with that impressive win against MorroW in the first game. So as long as Servio can take one other game from either Naniwa or Sjow, then he will be through along with MorroW.
Yeah, and we're going to have to find out the results of them pretty soon to actually confirm that. We don't have the results yet, but we will get them pretty soon. You can also find the results are updated